Welcome to my rules video. Big intro thing. Anyway, I'll get right into it. So I have set up a little graphic here with a few revised rules, and this is a little bit more immersive and colorful than what I had been using previously. So I'm just going to go over it piecewise, and I'm going to also post this on my channel and on the Discord so that you can access it at any time and return to it if you're at all unclear about any of the rules. So basic rules of participation is that if you want your score to be counted, you must include your team name in brackets before your Steam name. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is put like in brackets before your Steam name, and if you're playing distance through Steam, then it should just count it automatically. You must play as the car you are assigned. I mean that's pretty basic. If your team says that you're doing Jawhammer or if you're doing like Rogue Hog or whatever car you're assigned, then you've just got to play as that in the tournament. And number 3, which is very important, remember that this is all just fun, friendly competition, and even if prizes are at stake, try not to get too worked up about it. Just don't get too upset if you're not doing well, or if you mess up, or if you lose, because it happens. There can only be several winners. That's the point of the competition. It's supposed to be just kind of a fun, competitive event. Moving on, so I'm going to go to event scoring. So this is how points are scored. First place gets you 25 points on every level you score it, and of course, first is counted based upon the participants. So if there's somebody who is in the game who doesn't have brackets or a team associated with them, they're not scored, they're not counted. So if you score under them but there's nobody else in a team above you, then you are effectively awarded first place, and then it goes down up to 10th, and that's how scores are distributed. So as far as scoring and deaths go, dead players have an automatic score of 0. Once a player dies, they can restart from scratch with a new driver. So think of it like the Acceleracers card game. You make it through several realms. You get 1st, 4th, and 6th, and so you have a combined score of 45 points, right? And then you die. You trigger the death condition for your team. That score gets reset to 0. Now you can continue playing, but your score will have to rise from 0 again, and whatever you get at the end of the tournament is what you get scored at. An EDR or opt-out gives a player of 0 points for that round or for that realm. So if you decide that you don't want to do a realm, or if you use an EDR, then you don't get points. So you're not awarded points for that realm. All right, so now let's just go over the various team kind of rules. So drones, they only have 80% of the points, so put that in perspective. Say you get 5th, you get 10 points. Well, that would be reduced to 8 for you if you weren't on drones. But on the plus side of that, they can survive up to 3 wrecks, meaning that their score doesn't get reset when they wreck the first time, or the second time, or the third. The 4th wreck, their score gets reset to 0, but they have to participate in all realms, so the score is reset to 0 if they choose to, well, I won't count a reset. Reset will count as a wreck, but they can't preserve that 3 wreck kind of minimum by spectating like Silencers can. So Silencers is kind of a high risk, high reward team. They get 120% point multiplier. So say again, you get 5th, you get 10 points. Well, that'd be increased to 12 if you're on Silencers. However, any sort of wreck or reset will reset that score. The only way you can preserve your score and just get a 0 point for the round and keep your overall running total is by spectating. And so if you're falling towards kind of a kill grid or an obstacle, you've got to go through the options menu and use your spectate option if you're on the Silencers team. Otherwise, your score gets reset to 0. So for the Maniacs and Teku, which are the regular human teams, there's no point multiplier. If you get 6 points, you get 6 points. But you can survive up to 3 resets. and you cannot survive wrecks. So a wreck will reset your score to 0, and after 3 resets, on the 4th reset, your score gets reset to 0. And obviously, spectating on either of these human teams does not affect your score. However, spectating on the drones team, that will count against one of your 3 wrecks. Okay, so for an action legend, this is basically what actions within distance are kind of translated as to like what they mean in the actual tournament. So for spectate, that's an EDR with preservation of vehicle. So when you spectate, think of it like that moment in the junk realm when the whatever his face, like he hit some keys on his car, right? There was a sequence. There was more than one button. It's kind of similar in distance, and his whole car just got taken out of the realm. Well, in distance, when you spectate, your entire car kind of dissolves, meaning you preserve your vehicle. Now, when you spectate at the beginning, that just means you choose not to participate in the realm. Very obviously, it's counted as an opt-out, which is treated differently from an EDR as far as scoring goes. So when you wreck, that's a destruction of your vehicle with your player inside. You crash and you don't have time to escape. That means you die. That's a death. In drones, you can just manufacture another body, but silencers or maniacs, that means your score is at 0, your player is done. You need to bring a new driver in. When you reset, that's an EDR with destruction of vehicle. You hit the EDR button, you're out, but your car self-destructs. And silencers, obviously, that's not a thing that they do, so they can't survive that. All right, and that just about covers everything. Those are pretty much the entire rules. I know it's not all straightforward. That's why I made this video kind of explaining each individual point. If you have any additional questions, please leave them in the description below, and I will look forward to seeing you all this Saturday for my first large-scale Acceleracers tournament in a while.